Okay, then. All rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When she gets back to her desk. I'd like to call to order the regular town council meeting for the town of Hudson for June 2nd at 6:01. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Stadler? Here. Councilmember Knopf? Here. Councilmember Chavez? Here. Councilmember Maestas?
Here.
Councilmember Hammack?
Here.
Councilmember Warren?
Here.
Mayor Hargis?
Here. Are there any additions to the agenda?
There's not.
Come to the point in the program for citizens' comments. Anybody wishing to address the council on anything that is not already on the council set for public hearing may do so at this time. Doesn't look like there's anybody online or here. Do we have somebody online?
We do. I promote this person panelist. They would like to comment.
This is the point where you can make a comment to the council if you wish to. All right. Number 1, consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions about the consent agenda? If not, then I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve this consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammack?
Yes.
Councilmember Warren?
Yes.
Councilmember Maestas?
Yes.
Councilmember Knopf?
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler?
Yes.
Mayor Hargis?
Yes. 2A, Resolution 2114, a resolution approving a contractor agreement with A&R Fence LLC for Cedar Park.
Thank you. Hunter is here to answer any questions about these. The first two, we probably could have lumped together in one resolution, but we didn't, so they're separate. This is a resolution approving putting in fencing, and this will be for Cedar Park. The total amount of this is $12,800. And if Hunter wants to discuss both those projects.
So what these are, last year we put up the chain link with the green privacy slats along Memorial Park. What these two projects are, one is to continue the fencing at Memorial Park from where we stopped all the way through the fishing pond. That'll be your next resolution. Then this one is for Cedar Park. We're going to do the same thing, green privacy slats along the railroad tracks along our property line there, just to break up that view so you're not staring at the railroad's weeds in there. And this would go from approximately 4th Avenue to 5th Avenue. There at 5th Avenue, there's actually a jog in the property lines that comes back southeast where the railroad has a wider right-of-way through there. So we'll go up to that point. Then from there, we can figure out if we want to address any other fencing, because it'd kind of be a weird angle into the park and stuff from there. But that's what the first two are about.
12,000, that's just for Cedar Park?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
How many bids did we get for all of these?
I put out to 3 companies on these. We received 3 back. One of them was exorbitantly low, and he would not provide me with the standards and specs on the material he was using. So we chose not to go with him. I went and looked at some of his work. He uses lighter gauge fencing and post than the other 2 bid out. So we didn't feel like he gave us a complete bid.
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2114, a resolution approving a contractor agreement between A&R Fence LLC, Cedar Park.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Warren?
Yes.
Councilmember Maestas?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammack?
Yes.
Councilmember Knopf,
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler. Yeah. Mayor Hargis.
Yes. Motion carries. 2B, Resolution 2115, a resolution approving a contractor agreement with A&R Fence LLC for Memorial Park.
Again, we could have put this in one, I'm sorry we didn't, but that neither here nor there. This one is for $39,680, and this is for the Memorial Park.
Any further questions? If not, then I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2115, a resolution approving a contractor agreement with A&R Fence LLC Memorial.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez,
Yes.
Councilmember Maestas,
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler. Yes. Councilmember Hammack,
Yes.
Councilmember Knopf,
Yes.
Councilmember Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Hargis.
Yes. 2C, resolution approving professional services agreement with Northern Engineering Services.
This is for doing engineering work, specifically on drainage on Cedar Park. This will provide construction documents and topographic survey and civil construction documents. So this is not to do the actual work. This is to do the engineering part. I'll turn it over to Hunter for anything.
This is that long talked about project of covering up the ditch that runs along Fourth Avenue by the park. Part of this project too is repairing some of the drainage issues we have at that intersection of Fourth and Cedar. They'll actually add some drain boxes in instead of just cuts in the sidewalk. And it'll also eliminate the drainage from the end of the asphalt at Fourth Avenue and Cedar. That's kind of it. We're looking at just extending that pipeline down. The engineering will be for the full project. Once we get that done, we'll see where we're at for monies on actual construction. We may break it into two different projects over the next 2 years, do the stuff along Fourth Avenue, then turn and go north to the railroad property line. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
And this total is for $18,500.
Anybody have any questions?
Have we done the same thing with this as well? Have we looked at other companies to bid on things, or do we always just go with them?
No, but they're our engineer of record.
Okay.
So
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 2116, a resolution approving a professional service agreement with Northern Engineering Services.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez, Councilmember Hammack,
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler. Yes. Councilmember Knopf,
Yes.
Councilmember Maestas,
Yes.
Councilmember Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Hargis.
Yes. Motion carries. 2D, Resolution 2117, a resolution approving a trade contractor agreement with DC Construction.
I'd like to recuse myself from this conversation and voting on this.
okay, thank you. This covers a couple different projects. As you can see, it's rotor milling in Beach Street and Date Street, Fourth Avenue, and that's in front of the elementary school. Working on the entryway into Hudson Estates, the trailer park, and doing some work on Remington Drive to Buckboard Drive. The total amount of this is going to be $399,314. It is taken out from a couple different places in your budget when we did the budget last year, but they're all within the scope of the budget. I'll let him discuss Hudson Hills. We weren't able to find a price to do all of it at once. And so I'll let him want to describe that.
Oh, we'll start with Hudson Hills. This is to completely remove all the asphalt on Remington Drive from Beach Street till its termination at Buckboard, as well as Buckboard Street, which is roughly a block long. We're going to completely remove it, check the subgrade, repave, adjust manholes and valve boxes to where they should be, not where they're currently at. We are going to actually keep the roto-milled material for use in alleyways, parking lots, drives, anywhere we can. We're going to store it south of Hudson Hills back by our lift station, so it's out of sight. And it also saved us quite a bit of money on trucking for that. All three of these projects, I reached out to 4 different companies on to get bids from. 2 sent bids back, 1 declined to bid, and 1 never even called me back. The second project is 4th Avenue from Beach Street going east to Date Street. With the increased load of school buses on there, that road was unfortunately never designed to have that much heavy traffic on it. So what we're going to do is a 2-inch mill on it, as well as patching where the school district did their tie-ins. Then we're going to do a repave with virgin material over that. And it'll actually help the drainage on that road. Right now it's pretty flat, so it'll give it a crown so the water will come off of it and actually go to the gutters. And our third project is down at Hudson Estates off of 8th Avenue and Hudson Drive. They went in and paved all their internal roads. Well, their one internal road. We're just going to do the tie-ins where Birch Street would continue through, as well as where it comes out onto Hudson Drive. This is to remove the existing millings that are in there and pave it up to town standards.
Those little chunks are actually our right of way.
Yeah, I believe one's an Ash Street right away and the other one is Birch Street right away. But we're not doing any curb and gutter. We're just going to do an asphalt, a crowned asphalt entry into them to match what they've already paved in there.
Was this the same company that did the sidewalks
Yes.
on Ash that we had to redo some of them?
We haven't had to
That's my
redo
only-
any of the sidewalks. We had to
Well, they had to
change
be
some of the
fixed and be
engineering.
changed, yeah, so.
Yeah, we had to change the engineering, not the construction on it.
Okay, that was my only issue.
Why don't we put bids out on BidNet like the state and other municipalities do?
This is
Seems
kind
kind
of,
of odd that we just always reach out to the same.
one thing, we try and stay with local contractors. And it's honestly on me. I felt, to go on BidNet, I think we need more professional documents, and to save money, I didn't want to engineer these projects because they're pretty cut and dry, straightforward, rip out and replace with the exact same thing is why I did that. We have gone out on BidNet on other projects, the Hudson Drive, and probably when the ditch work, I'll go out there.
In DC, we do a lot of business with them because they usually win the bids because they have much, much lower staging costs. They're right here.
Well, we don't reach out to a lot
Exactly.
of companies, so we're gonna do a lot of business with them because that's one of the only ones we reach out to.
And I feel like if they're the only ones that reply, then you need to reach out to more.
Well, you said you put it on BidNet for the
Okay.
Hudson Drive,
The Hudson, well,
the
that
Hudson.
project a couple years ago.
right?
And
which-
they ended up winning that
DC
project and I got
Yeah, they got it.
2 complete bids back for that. What I run into is, unfortunately, Hudson doesn't have the greatest relationship with contractors. There's a lot of stuff previous years before my existence, before Guy's existence. I will call people and they'll flat out tell me, no, I don't want to bid for you. It makes it difficult. Like I said, we've done the BidNet, and again, I've got DC Contractors and Allen's Asphalt bid on the paving project for Hudson Drive. So I try and reach out to those that have done work for us before. I know that'll talk to us and bid for us.
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion approving resolution 2117, a resolution approving a trade contract agreement with DC Construction Limited.
I'll second it. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Hargis,
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler? No. Councilmember Hammack,
Yes.
Councilmember Knopf,
No,
Councilmember Maestas,
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 2118, a resolution approving the second amendment to the town manager's agreement.
I'm going to cover this because Guy would rather not. So this is based on the review that council gave. And this
Is
amendment
that
should,
mic working?
No.
it's lit up.
There you go.
All right, so this is based on the direction from the review of the town manager. And it should reflect council's direction. Please let me know if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Why does it not state the percentage of the raise that was discussed? It just presents where it's coming from. Like it says 50% coming from the general, 6010, 25% coming from GL 6010, and 25% coming from, it gives different codes. It does not give the percentage of what we discussed.
Where are you seeing that? I'm not.
Right here on the amendment.
So what that is the manager's
Contract.
salary is comes out of three different
No, I
pots
get
of money.
that, but I would like it, seeing as I believe it's public records, to know what you make and the raise that was given.
Yeah.
To state that it's an 8% raise with cost of living for however many years, that kind of thing is what I would, it's not on there.
Well, it's listed for the Valen compensation.
It's in the agreement itself. It's in the
Oh, okay.
amendment to the
If you look
agreement.
under recitals, it says that he made what he made.
Okay,
and
it
what
has
it's
the
gonna be
amount.
now.
okay,
And that was amount, but not percentage.
yeah,
Correct.
okay. All right. Thank you. I just didn't scroll far enough.
Any other questions? If not, then I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2118, a resolution approving the second amendment to employment agreement between the town council of the town of Hudson and Guy P. Patch.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez,
Yes.
Councilmember Maestas,
Yes.
Councilmember Stadler? No. Councilmember Hammack,
No.
Councilmember Nolf,
Yes.
Councilmember Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Hargis.
Yes. Motion carries. Staff reports. Guy?
Couple of things. Next Monday, I'm actually going to be going to a presentation by the Will County Assessor to discuss the potential 30 to 40% decline in assessed values for oil and gas in Will County. So that should be a fun time. Hand out on everybody's desk a draft of a budget schedule. So we've done a retreat on a Saturday. I would suggest the September 11th, 18th, or if that doesn't work, the next Saturday in September, I think it's 25th or something. But that would be, I removed a public hearing, kind of an open meeting, since the council budget retreat is open to the public and since we do have a budget public hearing, I just removed that one that we've not had anybody attend or question. So I just kind of took that one out, but everything else is generally the same as what you've done prior. So we don't have to decide this now, but I kind of want to get that out there. But we do, I would like to settle on when you would like that half-day budget retreat. And I would suggest sometime in September. I don't know if you guys want to hash that out now or do it the next meeting or.
Well, I will not be here the 11th and may or may not be here the 18th. So if nobody can do the 25th, I can work hard to be back by the 18th. But if we could do the 25th, that would be a lot easier on me.
I think I'll be gone the 11th as well.
I gotta check my schedule. I'm on vacation, but I'm not sure which week it is.
Well, we can decide this next meeting just so.
Okay.
I can make the 18th work, but the 25th is better for me. So just so you guys know.
I went out yesterday to look at a van that we've been looking at. As you can see, it has 7 seats and handicap access. To keep it under 14 people, so that you don't have to find a driver with a CDL license. It kind of looks like you're either going to have to get a 7 or 8 person van with room for handicap wheelchair accessible access, or not have the access and be able to move 13 to 14 people around comfortably. This particular one is 35,900. It's got 18,000 miles on it. And for $3,100, you can get a warranty on it for the mobility package. It's $500 down to secure it. I just am not sure if you guys are comfortable with just, I'm not sure how much you need handicap accessible. And if you have it, you're really limiting your seating capacity in getting a van. So I'm wondering if, do you guys want to talk about this again, or do you want us to go ahead and pull the trigger on this one because it's ready to go?
I thought there was something that we had to have the handicap accessible.
Yeah, I'm ADA compliant.
I have a concern that there might be an ADA requirement that if the town has transportation, it'd be compliant.
So if that's the case, your other option is to get something that's larger, that's handicap accessible, but find a CDL driver. But we're having a hard time finding that mix because we're running into vehicles like this. And this is a fairly common vehicle.
Is it maybe something like if we would get a vehicle with the full capacity, and then if there are handicapped, people that would need that we could rent it for that event or whatever?
We can do that. I asked about putting seats in and out. That's very cumbersome. And if we don't put it in wrong and we hit the brakes and that seat comes loose, we're liable.
It's so strapping down wheelchairs.
I'm sorry?
So strapping down the wheelchairs. That's, we're working for the state and transporting offenders around. That was a big issue.
You're gonna
Make
have
sure
to have
that-
someone trained on how to correctly strap them down, how to work the lift, everything.
Yeah.
So,
So we've been kind of working on the theory that you guys wanted to avoid a CDL driver. And so this is kind of where we're getting caught up. You guys want us to go look at something that may require a CDL driver and come back?
Yes.
Or no?
I don't.
So the CDL, it doesn't take much to get the CDL to drive something with a little more seating, like this, school bus. I think that's essential. That's what it would be for a CDL. And it's not that difficult.
and I'm sure you can talk to the drivers at the school district during the summer
Especially-
and they might want to work for a little extra money.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Keep looking and try to find one that's larger, but
I just think we shouldn't have advertised that we already had a van when we didn't, like we did the last council meeting.
How many people?
Well, we said we'd rent one if we didn't.
I know,
buy
it's just
one.
we advertised that we had one and I just don't think we should have when we didn't have one.
Do we know how many kids even signed up for it?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'll find out.
2.
We have 2 so far? Okay, so we got room.
What would be difficult for someone on the rec, working a rec to be able to just get that endorsement?
I'm sorry?
Get the CDL.
I'm sorry?
How hard would it
Can
be
you
for
talk
somebody
into
to
the
just
mic?
get that?
No, well, it wouldn't be hard. We can just have someone
Hey,
who works in
Joe.
the rec department.
Maria,
can't hear
I
you.
can't hear anything you
Can you
guys are
talk
saying.
into the mic?
I said, what I said was that wouldn't be that difficult for someone that works in the rec department to get that, get a CDL license for that. And so I think we should probably keep it within house and just have someone work to get the CDL for that.
Well, and whether somebody in the rec department does it or we hire a driver or somebody else does it, I don't think only having 7 seats is going to do you much good.
That was my concern.
Why
Yeah,
don't we
That's a
see if
ton of wasted space.
the person we hired for the part-time rec person, that they get their CDL? I mean, that would make the most sense since that's their kind of department, that they get.
Are
the
we gonna
CDL.
pay for that though?
It's-
I mean, that's her job here.
If you require additional licensing, you're gonna have to raise the pay level.
Or pay for her to get?
Or
I
pay
would say
for her
just
to get
pay
the
for her to get the
Right.
certification. It's not that much.
That's what she wants to do.
That's, yeah.
Well, it sounds like to start, look for a bigger vehicle
We'll do so.
and one that has the ADA accessible
So we're looking
In
for
it.
at least 14 or 15 people to seat.
plus,
And plus.
yes.
Thank you.
And we will go from there and talk to your, yeah.
Okay, I'll bring the budget schedule up next meeting, just in my report. And I will spend 2 weeks trying to find a van shopping.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Hillary,
Nothing.
Charity,
All of the field work for our audit has been completed. They are working on our financial statement reports, so we should have them in plenty of time to make the deadline for the report to the state. Heather and I both were awarded our Athenian Fellow through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks this week. So that was a lot of work for both of us to get that. We'll be recognized nationally next year at the conference. So that's what we've been working on.
that's it. Hunter,
Oh,
There's a tree by Holly Street that needs to be cut down. Oh.
gladly, tell me which one.
So cleanup weekend, had it. We haven't had a meeting together since. Our numbers were actually very low. We had 300 vehicles for the 2 days. Generally, we're over 400 for that cleanup.
Huh.
But now, the people that did come brought a lot of stuff. We ended up filling 28 dumpsters, and I could use 3 more just for tree limbs. So there was a lot of stuff that came in, just not a lot of people. So again, it was, I think, a pretty good success. You can tell the sun came out, the rain slowed down, the weeds are here. We're spraying and mowing like crazy right now, and that's kind of fill us up for a little while here and get these other projects rolling at the same time. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
And
We still have an opening too in Public Works.
Okay.
Kind of fill in on your CDL thing. The last 2 hires I made did not have CDLs. Just because you have a CDL, you are worth more money. So we did the same thing where these 2 hires, we got them up. They have to do their final testing still, but they have their permits. They've been driving. To get your drive time, you have to be with a licensed CDL driver to get your drive time. So we've been getting that wrapped up, and hopefully here in the next month, they'll both get in and get their final license done.
How long did it take them?
They studied for about 2 months. The written test, it depends on the vehicle that you're testing. Where ours, you have to have the Class B truck, you have to have air brake endorsements, your general knowledge. Then drive time was actually pretty quick because they're both familiar with vehicles. Then the hard part right now is getting them in to test, because every CDL tester in the area is booked up. I have contacts with Careers Worldwide that will get them in, and they're actually going to give them a day training to help with their pre-trip. That is the hardest part of getting your CDL, is passing the pre-trip inspection test. So,
along with the mowing and weed eating, are you, your team's crews looking for standing water and putting the mosquito bait down?
yes, we have been keeping up on that. Generally, when we mow, he takes the blower with him, and as he drives by the water at the parks, he takes care and puts the not pre-emergent, but the larvicide down. So we are out and about doing that as well.
Okay. I know I asked a while ago that we've got the stuff for the mosquitoes. Is there anything that can be put down anywhere, at least at the parks, for ticks?
I will look into it. There's nothing I'm aware of for large areas.
I didn't think so.
The recommendation, I've talked to several people, is, carry a can of off with you. It's the best thing for ticks.
Okay.
Mowing should.
And keeping it, keeping it mowed down. They stay out of the tall grass generally. I think what they're running into in the park is where, people take their dogs, they're running in the tall grass, then they're bringing them back into the short grass, but they really don't like the shorter grass.
I got a question. In my 3 years here, this is the first time I've heard about ticks. Have you guys heard about them?
Not until
No,
this
it
year.
was just
No.
the lady
So
that
this year-
posted. I didn't even know we had them in Colorado except like mountain areas or whatever, but.
Yeah, and
They're down
actually,
there
I
now.
20
heard about
years
it
I've
last
been
year.
here, no problems. It's like-
Good. Okay, thank you.
And that's, is that another thing? Is it a tick? I haven't seen one. We're in the deep weeds in
There
there
was
quite a
a
bit.
lot of them that were, yes, it was. And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, because we're back in the ditch line quite a bit and none of us have had any issues. And it could be just a small, somebody brought one with them. I do know they are around Keensburg, so it's very possible they're here too.
Okay, thank you. Anybody?
So the grass and the soccer field,
Yes.
did they get replaced yet or?
We're waiting back from CSU for our soil results.
Okay,
So we send in our soil and as soon as we get results, we'll know what direction, what we have to do to amend it and what type of seed will work best in there.
yeah, I went to use one of the restrooms down there, took one of my grandkids. It's a mess.
It is. It's, we put topsoil in there and hoping we could seed it and,
Oh, I'm talking about the restroom.
oh,
the
yeah.
Baseball field.
Yeah, we switched. We're on them constantly. Rich checks the restrooms every morning when he goes through. That park is just getting so much use this year. It's amazing. So we're checking them daily when we're here.
I saw like 20 people down there today playing like a full-on baseball game.
Yeah, there's a
Like
group that has
noon.
a reserve from 9 to noon on Wednesdays playing baseball down there. So it's from sun up to sundown. There's a group one way or the other using the park.
I'm quitting my job. I'm not play baseball.
Anybody have any other questions for Hunter? Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Jay?
Just a couple things that I had is probably the number one thing that everybody's going to give me the evil eye is the 76 and 52 project. We're trying to work with the folks out there, but it's nearly impossible. There's just nowhere to put the cars. And over the past 2 weeks, we've relieved 4 of the flaggers for things that they've done to people's cars. We've had a couple attempts of people trying to run over flaggers. We've had miscellaneous items tossed at them. And it's frustrating, I understand. I did get them to turn the lights off at the same time they're trying to direct traffic through. So it's not as confusing. But I went out twice and once was a 45-minute wait to get over the bridge. And the other time was 25 minutes. And today was 25 minutes easily. So, I mean, it's not helping with the time and stuff. And then we have a lot of complaints because folks are trying to divert because they think somehow they're going to mysteriously fly over the railroad tracks or something. So we have people out in fields alongside the railroad properties and stuff. We have stopped a couple of the trucks for doing what they do. We actually had one truck on fire on Ash Street. And that possibly was from overheating from sitting in traffic for a little while. So it's going to be this way as it gets warmer. It's probably not going to get any better. People are going to be a little bit more frustrated.
To follow up on that, still no word from Burlington Northern when they're going to start their work. And I just had somebody new from Castle Rock Construction contact me late this afternoon wanting to meet with me about some of the traffic stuff they're working on. So we'll see what they got to say. But it's very, very frustrating. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough on a couple emergency runs for my guys because they try to stop their vehicle. You shouldn't jump in front of these cars when their lights and sirens are on. It's probably not healthy for you. But some of these guys just don't understand that. We have to get through when we have to get through. And I understand if there's a hole in the ground, we obviously can't go through that. But we try to make that clear to them that if we're fire and emergency runs, the truck fire, it became fully involved because when we finally got them to let the fire trucks through, a train went through. So that took about 15 minutes. I mean, if everything could go wrong, this poor guy's truck was just like, and of course he just filled up the diesel tank on there. So it was full. It was just a bad day for that poor guy. And then the only other thing we're doing is we're conducting audits. If you guys have seen in the news, Firestone and Frederick have gone through some pretty horrendous audits on their property and records. So I had our folks going through that, and we did find some deficiencies. Part of it was the county because they switched to a different system. So we're now meeting this. There's only one item I have in the entire evidence room, and it's a saw that we don't know where it came from. or how it was reported stolen, who reported stolen, but it's in the system. We're going to try to correct that. I'll probably just do a whole separate report to make it 100%. So the audits meet that. And then we're getting a lot more requests. So we've noticed we had a fatal accident a couple weeks ago on 76. Before I got back to the office, Mr. Frank Azar had called the office requesting videos and the reports. I don't even think he had a client at the time. So this is what we're going to start seeing with 217 passing is any major incident makes the news. Our guys are going to be inundated with redactions and videos and copies of reports based upon they see a case. So, I mean, that's getting to be sort of a normal thing now. So we're getting used to that. But it's not very, it's horrible for the families that these lawyers are calling us before they even have them as clients and asking for these things before we haven't even finished our reports. We're not even finished on scene and they're already calling in requests. So that we sort of knew that was coming with 217 and with them moving 217 up a year, or a good possibility it's going to move up a year. We already meet the standards, so that's good. Whereas some of these agencies can't get body cameras. They're back ordered for 18 months and we got ours, so we're good. That's all I've got.
Anybody have any questions for Jay? Thank you. Jen?
Good evening. I actually have something for you all tonight. Sorry, it's like in my mouth. The Planning Commission has a request they want to put before you, and this is really a request for your consideration. This is not part of any formal application, but after some conversation on another application that they did approve for a use at a property that's located, it's the property that's been for sale at the terminus of North Beach Street. Yeah, so most people know where that is. The house in front of it, I think, just sold, but this is the vacant lot behind it that we're talking about. That has actually, I think, kind of sold a couple times, but it's never been developed. So that's the subject property we were discussing. After the Planning Commission made their decision on the actual application they had, they started to discuss the state of this section of Beach Street and requested that the council consider some level of improvement on it for drivability purposes. So recycled asphalt was an actual material that was mentioned as part of that conversation. Again, this isn't part of any application or anything, so this is why I'm giving it to you as part of my staff report, maybe to get direction from you all so that it can become either something more formal or something that gets put on a list for later for your consideration. In our transportation master plan, we do have a list of capital projects that were kind of noted as short to long-term projects that the town may want to look at. This section of Beach Street is not on any of those lists, but it is an unimproved section of roadway that we have in town. To my knowledge, I don't know if we have any utilities in that roadway. I don't believe that we do. I think everybody's served from Beach, so it's really just the road that's under consideration. But staff is here to discuss the issue and maybe get direction from you on this request from Planning Commission. And I know Councilmember Sadler, sorry, wrong meeting, was also at that meeting. If you have any questions about the Planning Commission's discussion as well. Staff, I try to stay.
Matt was gonna try to come today, but he got stuck at work, in case you guys had questions. But his main concern was because town vehicles do access that to go back to the park. We, as a town, should do something with it. It shouldn't fall on the homeowners as the town accesses it, so.
Now, those trucks that you see there, is that the town people driving back there?
Yeah, it's the extension of Beach Street.
Yeah, so
I
we
know
need
it's
to do
extension
something with it.
Beach Street,
you
but
know.
it's going right through the fence.
No, there's an opening there.
There's no fence, because that's how Public Works uses to go back there. That's how we did back in the day. We had it was kind of like Touch a Truck, but they did like a car show back here, and that's how they got the tractors back through there, all that stuff Matt was saying. So it is used by town vehicles.
And there is a small opening where you could get a vehicle in. So if you think it's like the wood split rail fence is what that's called. One of the split rails has been removed so vehicles can get in.
And we aren't asking for it to be paved. We were more like, you know, the crushed concrete, that kind
So
of thing.
who owns
put
the
in
the
there.
property behind that house?
It's gonna be two owners.
Yeah, the
My
house,
concern is the people that just bought the blue house have horses down
I saw that
Yeah.
in their
yesterday.
yard in the front. And
I
if we're
did
gonna
see that.
have trailers driving on just a paved, not even a paved, fully paved road, it's just gonna
Well,
mess
but
up the road.
that's another question. You
So,
asked.
So I
don't
can
know that
speak- I-
that's Allowed, but.
so it is a business district and the business of raising horses is not allowed in the business zone. But that's an issue that we'll take care of regardless of how you
Yeah,
decide
because if we
tonight,
put
okay?
crushed asphalt on it and a trailer's driving on it and backing up on it, it's gonna look just like that in a year.
So-
And we're gonna pay for it again, so.
Your
I would
typical
say-
uses allowed in the business zone are your neighborhood service style uses, anything that you see on Cedar Street in Old Downtown. The uses that are allowed on this property now, so now residential uses are allowed on both of these properties because one is obviously legally non-conforming and the other one was allowed by planning commission. So those are the intended uses for those properties right now. If they transition into something in the future, it's going to be more, and this is not a planner term, but it's going to be more businessy. So less ag. And in order to have animals like a horse or goat, you have to be in an ag zone. So it wouldn't be
Maybe
allowed.
that's something in code enforcement needs.
That's
to
what I
look
was
at,
saying
or-
is another issue we'll tackle no matter what happens as a result of this. And I was just made aware of it tonight. So I was actually trying to get Jay and he was on the phone before the meeting. Yeah, we will look into that issue regardless of what's decided tonight.
I have a couple of questions / concerns or food for thought, I guess. I was under the impression they're planning on putting a duplex back there.
Yes.
That was the use that was approved at planning commission.
So the town doesn't sublet development, right? That's been our stance forever. And I don't think the reason, oh, well, we use that road to access stuff. The town uses every road in town to access stuff. So my concern is if they're gonna put a duplex back there, which would be a development. It's not a single family home that's on a dirt road. My concern is if we further or I guess develop the road there, then we're on the hook for developing further on down the road for any developments that come in. Because it can't be a tit for tat thing. It's
And
gotta be
isn't-
equal all the way across the board.
See, and I believe what Matt was saying at the meeting, I wish that's why I wish he was here because I don't remember correctly, but I believe that one was originally supposed to be paved when they paved the town street.
Because it's part of Beach Street.
Yes. And it never got done. It got put on hold. So because it was originally supposed to be paved and it's part of Beach Street, the town should finish paving it as
Well,
Matt.
if we could confirm that it's actually part of Beach Street. then
It is.
It is.
I can confirm it's part of the original township
And
plat.
it just never got
I think we should just wait.
done.
I think we
That-
should address multiple things first. Like,
I mean, that's low on the totem pole as far as I'm concerned.
Well, but as far as just waiting to see what's going on with this property.
Yeah.
If nothing's going on, we don't need to do anything about it. And then if they
Did
do
you
build the
approve the
duplex on
duplex?
there,
We
Did you-
approved the duplex, I believe, correct?
so if,
Yeah, but
Yes,
development's
you've
been
heard the
happening for
use.
15
They
years.
still have to go through site planning and or building
so
permitting.
then I think we probably do need to look at getting it paved. But besides that, before that, let's just wait and see. Nothing may happen with it.
And isn't it part of the development process, roads?
And roads come into play with subdivision, but improved access comes into play with any building permit. So there may be a level of improvement necessary for this residence to be put in a certain location, depending on how far away it is from 52. The fire code, the building code, all these things come into play when that happens. That all being said, there may also be some level of improvement needed that's more particular to that duplex. That's more of a weatherized surface or something along Beach Street, but that's all something that we need to understand. I mean, if it's a single family home going in on that, and they go back to planning commission, get that use approved. I mean, we're kind of speculating a million things could happen. And that is going to come into play at site planning. So when they come in to do the site planning before they get their building permit, all of the development required improvements associated with that would come into play at that time.
I say let's get our ducks in a row before we start crossing the street.
We don't know if they're gonna dig that up underneath that for sewage, or I don't even know how that would work.
They're gonna have to do something to get
Yeah.
utilities back there.
Well, and
Yeah.
planning commission just
Bringing-
wanted to put it on your guys' radar, so you knew that it will be coming to you guys in the future. So if you wanted to act now, you could. If you wanted to put it on hold, you could. It's up to
Yeah.
council.
Let's put
so-
on
I
hold.
think we wait.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel,
On the issue of using the bid website, I know in the past the town has had, bad relationships with contractors, but we're new. We need to start developing those relationships better. That should be a call for improvement, not a call for avoidance.
And there
So
should,
moving forward in the future, I'd like to see us utilize that more. If not every time. Because I think if you don't, you're going to run into a situation where it could be considered by some citizens corruption. And we want to avoid that if at all possible.
Sure.
That's all I got.
there's a lot of new companies out there. I think we can start building some new friendships with them.
Some rapport.
Thank you. That's probably the best way to put it for.
Candace.
I would just agree with that. I think it's kind of inappropriate to just continuously reach out to only people that we know that are going to answer. We need to fix what happened before.
And we do put it out on our website too. So we have a section that we put out bids as well. So everybody,
A lot of people don't look at that though, because municipalities are post things out like that. So of course they're going to look in larger areas. So some people don't even know where Hudson is still.
Yeah.
Very true.
Oh, and I think we need to address the horses because there's two on a very, very, very small
They're
property.
technically ponies. but-
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought they were little tiny.
Well,
They
when
were
they stand
smaller,
at your
but-
back door because there's nowhere else for it to go, that's kind of a concern.
My biggest concern is that fence was not meant to hold in any sort of
And
equine.
there's a lot of traffic right
And
there.
there's a lot of traffic right there.
They're super cute though.
Air
I
horse
saw them
too.
the other day and I was like,
I know,
I
me too.
stopped.
I was like, what?
I was like,
Okay,
That's new.
Joe,
but
anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Maria,
We had
pull the mic over.
the Memorial Day Park, the Memorial Day barbecue. Not a very good turnout, but it was considering the, the weather.
Weather,
Just getting over COVID. A lot of people were out of town, so it was nice, but it was small.
Sarah. Michael.
No.
have you slept?
Somewhat, on and off. Going through stage right now, so not the last couple days.
And I don't have anything, so now we're back to citizens' comments. If there's anybody who wishes to address the council on anything that was brought up tonight, may do so at this time. We'll let the record show that nobody is speaking up, so that's it. Council adjourned, meeting adjourned 6:49.